Yo, guys, I just want to say Post Malone's probably one of the nice celebrities out there, and everybody should respect him.
I can find the 7-Eleven.
Yo, can you please stop interrupting me, man? I'm trying to talk about Post. God, the audacity on people.
This is my friend Jony. Or as the ladies know him as, the Caramel Drip. Ooh. Jony is one of the funniest guys I have ever met, and seems to bring comedy into every aspect of his life, including real estate.
Open layout, great starter home, perfect for kids. I mean, look. Hey! That's just a friendly neighborhood realtor.
That's great. And he also hits his social media hard too, including TikTok.
All right, on the count of 3, we're gonna make a really dumb face. Ready? 1, no, on the count of 3. Ready? 1, you have to wait till the count of 3. Ready? 1, wait till 3, bro.
Gets me every time. Jony even had the cojones to get up on stage and do a little stand-up comedy.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna give my rest of the time back to the house. Yeah, keep it going. It's first time.
Man, that was great. Now you might be thinking, this Jony guy seems like a funny guy, nothing suspicious about him at all. I'm sad to say, but this is where the story changes. Things just weren't adding up. How can you be as funny as some of the comedy greats and at the same time have a jawline chiseled by the gods? Just doesn't make sense. So I did the one thing that I knew how to do. It was time to investigate. I dove straight into the belly of the beast, social media, and what I found was shocking. Photo after photo of celebrity, everyone from Post Malone to Shaun White. But that's not even half of it. Little did we know, he is a master of disguise. Photo after photo, again. Why was he trying so hard to stay hidden? I knew I was onto something. The only people I know that try to stay hidden are people running from the law. Law, that might be something. Outlaw, that's it. So I dug even deeper into an outlaw search, and you won't believe what I found. You see that? Zoom in for me. Bingo. I knew he looked familiar. Now let's put it side by side so you can really see the similarities. Uncanny. That's unbelievable. They look identical. So wait a second. If he's friends with celebrity after celebrity, and is a master of disguise, and has pictures from him from 1896, I can only mean one thing.
Alright guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are with the one and only Jony. Jony, thank you for showing up.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here. I was felt so honored when you asked me
To come down to the back porch.
to come down to the back porch of C21.
Alright, buddy. So let's jump into so we've known each other for less than a year now at this point, right?
Yeah, about like 8 months.
And we met here at the real estate office. So give me a quick rundown. What got you into real estate? How old are you first?
I'm 21 years old.
21. He currently has 6 under contract.
6 under contract.
More than I've ever had. I've actually never had 6 under contract. I was telling him that yesterday. I've done 5 a couple times, but for him to be so young and this early in the business, man, it's just killer. And one thing I was going to mention was, from the get-go, you are one of the funniest, wittiest dudes I've ever met.
That is true. I can testify to that.
And so I guess, how do you use comedy when it comes to real estate? How do you intertwine the two? Because I've seen you do it on the phone calls with clients. Yeah. What would you recommend to somebody if they're trying to make it a little more personal?
Yeah, so the first thing that I learned about when I got into real estate is that you're not selling a house, you're not selling a product, you're selling yourself, right? You're selling your client the opportunity to work with you and why they would want to work with you and the experience of using you as a real estate agent. I always knew that I was funny and people enjoyed that I was funny, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to focus on comedy so I can help people feel comfortable. This is a big transaction in their life. Mm-hmm. And when something is very serious, I'm pretty sure many of you know, when you're in an awkward situation or something's very serious, you use comedy to kind of bring down the tension.
Sure.
So that's just what I've used with my clients. If they're ever stressed or overthinking something, just kind of throw in some comedy there to help them calm down and just let them know, like, we're just taking it step by step.
Yeah, dude, and it's one of those things with realtors. Most real estate agents across the board kind of have that car salesman vibe where I don't think a lot of people will expect you to be funny. Like, it kind of throws them off guard. They think you're going to be super professional, almost dry, kind of insurance salesman kind of vibe. And so I've seen a number of times where he'll throw out some comments on the phone call, and you can just tell the person on the other end's going, it kind of
Yeah.
puts them on pause. It kind of slows them down a little bit.
Yeah, I like to let them know that, like, you're not talking to a salesman. You know, I'm a genuine person, and I make jokes just like you and your friends do.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to be a pretty, 6 under contract, so it works, huh?
Yeah.
So what got you into real estate then?
So what got me into real estate is about 2 years ago. I was pretty broke in my life, living paycheck to paycheck, getting some help just to, you know, make it survive, get some food on the plate, you know. And then I was in a beginner sales job, and I actually came across an opportunity. I sold something to a manager, and it took me into a higher paying job. And then once I started making money, it was more money than I was used to, and I was like, I know I need to do something with this money. I know that.
So you're just starting to see a little more money. So was it changing your perspective of, like, maybe possibilities? Was that kind of what you're saying as far as?
So the reason I paused is because I kind of jumped ahead of the story. But I was originally going to college, and I wanted to become a lawyer because I had great communication. Yeah, I had great communication skills. I wanted to become a lawyer, not necessarily because I thought it was fun, but just because I wanted to be rich. So then when I thought about it, I was like, well, when you get a law degree, when you get a medical degree, it doesn't come with $1 million, right? It does. They don't just give you money. So I started to think, what does every rich person have in common? And it was that they all have money. So I was like, okay, there must be something to this. They must know how money works. Like, there must be a trick to money.
Okay.
So that's when I got into the upper paying job. And when I did that, I started reading books about money. You know, started watching YouTube videos. Like, what do rich people do? Like, those, like, really.
So hold on for a second. So what's your background as far as, like, family, what you were born in? Were you middle class, upper class, lower class? Like, give me kind of a background on money in your life at that point.
Money in my life, middle class. Middle class in Idaho. So basically, I never had, like, really, really nice things. I never had, like, the BMW show up to school. My parents, I never thought they were ever struggling.
Okay.
Like, we were pretty in the norm. They wouldn't buy me super expensive things, but so I for sure knew that if I ever needed anything, I could ask them.
Okay. So you weren't ever wondering if you're going to have food on the plate necessarily, but at the same time, you weren't able just to get whatever you want whenever you want. Kind of in that middle ground.
It wasn't like every time I asked my mom, can we stop at McDonald's? She said, yeah. Like, there's food at home.
Yeah, you know? Okay. And the once in a while on your birthday, you got McDonald's, you know, the kids meal. Yeah. Okay, so you're working at this job, you're starting to study people that are making money. Then what? So
then I'm like, I learned about investing, and I know I need to invest, and I read The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a great book. I recommend everybody should read that book. And it's in there, it teaches me never invest in something that you don't know about. And then when I started learning about investments, I learned that real estate's one of the safest investments.
Sure.
And I was like, dang, I really want to invest in real estate, but the book that I just read told me that I can't because I don't know anything about it. So my friend at the time, he wanted to be a real estate agent, and he was like, man, I'm thinking about buying these classes. Like, I wanna do it, but I'm not sure. So I, like, convinced him, and I was like, buy these classes, bro. You have to buy these classes. I'll do them with you. And I was like, and if you ever feel lazy, I'll do them for you.
So they're already selling them.
Yeah, I'm already working. I'm already working my magic. And then I make a joke, and he's like, whoa, you're a real person. And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm in front of you.
So you get these classes.
I get him to get these classes. We start taking them together, and then after a while, like.
Now, are they agent classes or are they investing classes?
They're the agent classes to become a real estate agent. They're the course that you need to take. So me and him start, and we're doing 2 hours every day. Okay. And then I don't want to go ahead because they're his courses. Then he bought them, and then after a while, he kind of starts like slowly slipping up, and then I kind of ask him, I'm like, hey man, do you want me to keep going? He's like, yeah, if you want to keep going, go ahead. Okay. So then I just go through the whole course and I finish it, right?
Okay.
And the only thing I wanted was the knowledge. So once I got the knowledge, I realized, wait a minute, like, I'm already doing this at T-Mobile. I'm already selling here.
Was that where your job was before you were mentioning you kind of moved up to a better position? Was that T-Mobile?
Yeah, so I know we're kind of all over the place, but I started at Best Buy, and then I sold the TV to the T-Mobile manager, and he offered me to come work for him. So then I did. Okay. And then from there, I started learning about real estate.
Okay.
So
you go through these courses.
I go through these courses. I'm already doing the work, just in a different field. So I should just switch over, and that way, like my whole goal is if I switch over, I'm studying the real estate market every day. I'm not studying cell phones and then going home and then studying real estate, like real estate throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
So then that was the goal, because I want to switch over to real estate and then create a bunch of passive income so I could just focus on YouTube and making comedy skits and stuff like that.
So let's transition into this. So you were working at T-Mobile.
Yes.
And the clip that we show in the beginning here was one that kind of blew up some of your social medias, a little bit there, right?
Yeah.
And it was you meeting Post Malone. Basically, give me a quick rundown on how you ran into him, because that was kind of an interesting little connection when you kind of start breaking everything down here.
Yeah, so I was still at Best Buy there, and it was just, it was a blizzard. It was super slow. There was nobody in the store, so I asked my manager, I was like, hey, give me something to do. Like, I don't know what I'm bored. Give me a task. So she's like, go in the back and help with the truck. So I go in the back, and I'm helping.
Like unload?
Just unload stuff,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Just getting the stuff ready. And then she calls me back. She's like, hey, your coworker's leaving, so you got to come back and cover your department. I'm like, shit. Like, this is going to be so boring.
Yeah.
So as I'm coming back, I see this like entourage come in, and they're like making like a lot of chattering noise. So I'm like, oh, they might be here to mess around.
Did it look like somebody that could have, like, were they a celebrity status of some sort, or did it look just like a bunch of kids kind of like coming in? Did you have any?
Yeah, it just kind of looked like a bunch of kids. Like
Like
I
you,
mean,
didn't, you didn't go,
obviously
who's this? It was
I didn't
just
go,
more
who's
like,
this? It was just
more
like people were walking in.
Mhm.
Nobody was like freaking out or anything, but there was like a lot of chattering noise, a lot of laughing,
Okay.
and there was a lot of them. I'm like, oh, they might just be here to mess around.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So then I was like, cool, I'll go mess around with them, just have some fun for the last 2 hours of work. And then I approach them and I'm like, hey, how can I help you? And I make eye contact with Post Malone, and my jaw drops. Like, it's never happened to me before, but my jaw dropped. Because I've heard stories about him coming into the store before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
I've heard stories about him coming into the store before, and like other well-known Utah celebrities like Donovan Mitchell and
Sure,
things like
sure,
that.
sure.
Just stop by. And I was just like, man, with my luck, like I'm that person that never wins a contest, And I'm like, I'm never gonna see it. And literally, like, I think I heard the story like 2 weeks before.
Okay.
And it was like 2 weeks later, I was just like, all that was going in my mind, I was like, this is Post Malone. I just heard about this. I can't believe this is actually going on. So my jaw drops, right? And I turn around because I don't want him to see my jaw drop. But it was the funniest thing though, because like when I looked at him and my jaw dropped, he was like about to say something, and then I turned around. So he was probably like, he like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey. No, he didn't really. But then I was like, I did the High School Musical thing. I was like, and I turned back around, and then I was just like, how can I help you? And he goes, yeah, man, you know where I can find your Dysons? And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Dysons, vacuums?
It was a fan.
Okay,
But that wasn't my department, I was selling TVs. That wasn't my department. I don't know what that was. And then he's like,
yeah.
oh, it's right over there. So then he's
And he starts walking by, and you're going.
yeah,
"Hey,
so
wait."
he starts walking by, and I'm like, do I follow him? Do I not? Like, normally we would follow a customer and make sure that they have everything they need, right?
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
like, but he's a celebrity. I don't want to follow him and make him feel like, I'm just some random fan and not let him feel comfortable.
Right.
A lot of celebrities say that they feel like they can't breathe sometimes. So I was just like, no, like, that's my job. I have to go. If he requests to leave me alone, I'll leave him alone, but that's my job. I have to go.
Sure.
So I follow him, and then his security guard grabs the Dyson fan, and he's like, hey man, can you hold this in the front? He grabs it with one hand. So like, yeah. So I grab it with one hand. This thing's heavy, man. That's like a big guy. It like falls down, and like they all look at me, and they're like, is that thing broken? So I just like grab it. I go to the cash register, and I'm sitting there waiting. I'm not supposed to be at the cash register because that's not my department. So
It's like, this guy's everywhere, man.
so I was just sitting there, and then like some girl comes up to me. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Shut up." I was like, "Shut up! I'm checking him out." And she's like, "You're so weird." And I was like, so I'm watching him. He's walking around the store. Every other employee gets to go approach him and talk to him. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here waiting for him to come cash register. I'm like, man, like, screw this. I'm just gonna go back to my department, and I'm gonna bring the fan with me though, so he checks out on my side. So I ended up going to my apartment, and then I ended up helping him. And while we're like helping him, I'm like walking through with him, like making a couple jokes, trying to make him laugh.
Okay. And when you say entourage, how many people are we talking? Like 5 people, 10, 15, like?
A little bit less than 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was him, his security guards, his girlfriend, and just like a couple other.
A few others.
Yeah.
Okay.
His security guard really cool. That's what hit her off with the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. If you're watching this, man, you're a cool guy.
He's like, that's that son of a gun that got my fan. Okay, so you check him out. They buy their stuff.
Yeah, and during this whole time, it was about maybe like 40 minutes that he was in the store. I'm like, I need to make a video with him. And I'm trying to think. I'm like, I need to make a video with him, some kind of video, and I can't think of it. And I just break down, I'm like, okay, let's come up with 3 ideas. 3 ideas, and then you'll pick the best one. And then I come up with the first idea, which is hey guys, I just want to say Post Malone's awesome. And then he comes up behind me, and he's just like, asks me a question. I'm like, yo, can you please stop being rude and interrupt me? I'm trying to talk about Post Malone.
So the one you did?
The one I did.
Okay.
And then the other 2, I couldn't think of an idea. So it was just that one. Right? So then I'm checking him out. He walks out of the store when I start checking everything out. And I'm kind of nervous, like, is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? And I'm just kind of freaking out the whole time. But then he ends up coming back. And as I'm helping him load everything, that's when I ask him, I'm like, hey, can I get a picture and can I record this video with you? And then I tell him about the video, and I mean, Post Malone's such a nice guy. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So
I was going to say, man, out of any celebrity, especially here in Utah,
yeah,
like he seems to have no bad track record as far as people meeting him.
Yeah.
Like he seems to be a
he's
very
so
genuine dude.
he's very genuine. Like he's walking in the store. I mean, we're Best Buy employees, right? He's this huge celebrity, and he's just like, sir, ma'am, please, thank you. Like, very respectful.
He bought a home just right over there.
Oh,
you
yeah?
know?
Should we go to it?
I think it's locked. It's gated.
I just say, hey man, we're doing an interview. We were just talking. You want to join?
You like, remember him?
He's like, no sir, no sir, please no sir.
The security guard just grabbed both of his hand.
He's like, hey, you dropped my Dyson fan.
Okay, so you tell him about the video idea, and was he on board right away?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right away.
Cool. Okay. Now this is when TikTok was just kind of beginning, right?
This is before TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
this
didn't
was
know that.
before TikTok.
Okay.
So this was, I think, in 2018. So I mean, TikTok was around. I knew it was around,
right.
but it was still like music stuff.
Musically.
Yeah,
right?
like I still had an aggression, an anger towards TikTok. I'm like, you'll never be Vine. You'll never be Vine.
Was it out then?
Yeah.
Okay. But it didn't blow up by.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I don't think. I might be
year.
wrong. TikTok community, like the real TikTok community, if I get this wrong, I'm sorry. I don't think there was any comedy, like, in TikTok yet. I think it was just, like, musically, like, transition.
I think it was musically, and it was, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so it was before that, so you recorded it. Give me the rundown on, like, did you break it down to him, like, this is what I want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me the...
Yeah, so I was like, hey, man, I record a bunch of funny videos on my Snapchat. I thought of this funny video, if you'd be open to it, can we record? And basically I'll just sit here and say, hey, Post Malone's one of the nicest guys ever, blah blah, and then you walk behind and just ask me something like, hey man, you know where I can find a 7-Eleven? And then I'll be like, can you please stop interrupting me? I'm trying to talk about Post Malone. And then he kind of chuckled. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it, and then I threw in the audacity on people, man.
That was funny.
And when I did that, I kind of felt bad because I didn't let him know that I was going to do that. And I was like, I hope he doesn't feel like that was rude. And then I showed him, and he laughed and shook my hand, and he said, good day to you, sir.
Well, and it was snowing, and it's so random. Like, you just don't put the two. It was cool, dude. It was cool. So that you posted that on TikTok, and it kind of went viral on TikTok, right?
Yeah, so...
I mean, it blew up.
So I downloaded TikTok because I already had my YouTube started at this point.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna use TikTok the same way David Dobrik used Vine. Like, I wanna get big on TikTok and then transition to YouTube. I know there's not that many big people on it yet, so it should be pretty easy. So I download it, and I'm just thinking of video ideas, and then my friend is just like, hey, you should put your Post Malone video on there. And then I was just like, I kind of felt dirty doing it. I was like, man, I know it's just gonna blow up because it's Post Malone. Like,
was it like if you got like if a athlete gave you a signature jersey and then you sell it on eBay the next day.
Yeah,
It's-
like
it's
that's kind of what it
"Come
felt
on,
like.
man."
And I told her, I was like, no, because like that's not my own original content. Like I didn't come up with that content. And she's like, well, like you actually, like you did.
Yeah.
You scripted the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that made me feel better doing it. And I was like, I'll just post it, whatever. So I posted it right before I go to bed, and then sure enough, like I wake up the next day and it has like 20,000 views over the 6 hours that I was asleep.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so it's about to happen. It's about to pop off.
And you kind of use that momentum with other stuff, right?
Yeah. So I did it pretty poorly. If you guys are watching this and you're trying to start a YouTube video, if you ever have a viral video go off, everybody requested a story time, and I went too long on trying to perfect the story time.
And kind of capture that audience.
And kind of capture that audience. So by the
Yeah.
time I posted a story time, like there's already a lot of loss of interest.
True, huh?
So, yeah, I think if I would have done it a little bit sooner, that was probably my mistake. So next time I have another viral video go off, I mean, I've learned from it. I've had a couple other ones since then,
Sure.
and I immediately post content right after that.
Well, and you've been working TikTok pretty hard as far as getting that audience, really interacting with them. I mean, you're showing me how you're just going live with them and talking to people, right?
Yeah.
So what's kind of the goal behind it? Because I've talked to you before about the Jony Show, and whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, like you're kind of hitting multiple platforms. But what is the Jony Show? What's the idea behind it?
So the Jony Show is just I don't.
Like, where did it come from?
So the Jony Show is just it's a phrase that I used to say many moons ago when I was when I wasn't necessarily focused and I was out doing God knows what. Anytime
Why
that
are you being hesitant right now?
anytime it's because so anytime I was drunk or at a party and I was just under the influence, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I would be recording, and if something crazy happened, I'd be like I don't know, record
Kind of like World Star vibe.
kind of like World Star vibe with the mixture of The Office, and I'd turn to the camera and be like, "Welcome to the Jony Show."
Sure. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that captured a lot of funny videos, and then from there I was just like, that's gonna be it, like the Jony Show.
Okay. Okay.
So the Jony Show is just basically like my whole life, because I mean, you see me day in day out, like
Yeah.
anytime I'm around, there's something funny happening, whether it be me creating something funny or just like anybody that I'm hanging out with. Like my life's full of funny moments,
Yeah.
and
And you create a lot of them. Like, I think that's what's interesting about. There's people that are funny, but there's people that take advantage of that skill, and you take advantage of it daily. There's not too many times I've been around you that you didn't make me laugh in one way or another, or create some kind of interesting event where people get mad at you because you're goofing off, kind of, like you get a good mixture of the two. But okay, so you start this Jony Show. Then when did you go, okay, I'm gonna take it from just in my scallywag adventures to let's actually create something out of this?
well, I've always wanted to. Like, I've always wanted to get into acting or something like that, and I auditioned for things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
But
know
then once I started learning about money and I kind of gained to that entrepreneur mindset, I was like, if I want to be big on acting and comedy, I have to do it myself.
Sure.
I can't rely on a label or an agent. I can't rely on finding that opportunity. I have to sit there and grind myself and post content,
Well,
frequently.
it seems nowadays it's more likely that you do that for yourself than going that traditional route just because of the access, right?
Yeah.
But okay.
So that's what it was, and I realized that I had to start posting content, had to start marketing myself, had to basically be my own agent, be my own label.
Sure.
So the fun part is making the videos. The not so fun part is posting, hey everybody, go check me out. Because when I was a teenager, I've always wanted to blow up and be funny, but I never wanted to be that guy that's come check me out, come check me out, come check me out. But you kind of have to, right?
Yeah, you kinda have
if
to
you really
market.
want
That's-
it
you're
that bad,
marketing
you have
yourself,
to
right?
market yourself, yeah. And once I understood that, that's when I fully made the change.
So what's the big goal behind it then? Is it your own talk show? Is it just to make an income from YouTube? What's the big goal here?
I think the big goal is just to not necessarily have my own show or my own kind of TV, but just be well known for comedy and
Why?
comedy's just always been like a big part of my life. I've always wanted to be well known. I always feel like.
Well, what is the two then? Because people know you as a comedy dude, you know. So like, why is that important to you? Because you can accomplish that goal on a smaller level here. So why make it even bigger?
I just think like I'm so funny. Like I'm so funny, bro. What don't you understand? No,
The world needs to see me.
the world needs. No, I really think that like I'm probably I am the funniest person I've ever met, right? So I want to show that to everybody, and it's kind of like maybe a competitive aspect inside me. And I'm like I want to be good at it. Like if somebody ever comes up to me and they're like I'm funnier than you, like I'm killing that person right then on the spot.
Yeah.
I have like 6 secret dead bodies laying around the river. Alright.
Just cuts it.
It just cuts it. I'm like holding the camera.
Yeah, it's on the ground. Just me dragging.
No, honestly, I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. I don't know what it is. I was just talking, thinking, brainstorming.
We'll pull it back for just a minute. I mean, you did a stand-up. We didn't even go into this, but you actually did your first actual stand-up gig here, I guess, was it last year?
It's the beginning of this year before COVID.
Before everything hit. And that's what I was curious on, because you have YouTube, you have real estate, you have stand-up, you have multiple avenues in this. So what would be the ideal setup for you then? I mean, is it to be a stand-up comedian? Is it to be a YouTuber? Is it to be a real estate investor? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes?
Uh-huh.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone that far in the whole thought process because there's a big obstacle that I need to face first, and that's creating enough income to actually pursue, YouTube without having to worry.
Which is probably the biggest obstacle everybody faces, right? Because it's one of those things where the people I've studied, they work their 9 to 5, they work their regular job, and then the off hours is when they grind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when they really put out the content, and then just slowly over time they're able to transition that.
Yeah.
So obviously real estate investing will be a goal you always have. So do you want to eventually get out of sales and get more into the investing side and focus more time and energy on the comedy stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So eventually just want to get out of sales, get passive income, and then once I can do that, I could just like from 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. just work on comedy, because it's hard to produce content when my mind's shifting through like being professional, being a sales agent, and then focusing on comedy.
Yeah, it is one of those jobs you got to be fully involved all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have a shut off time.
I can come up with quick witty remarks, but it's like coming up for a whole video idea. It's like it takes some time.
It takes a lot of energy and a lot. You can tell the people that actually their videos have really good quality. You can tell how much attention they actually are putting into it. You know, compared to just the average Joe. Mm-hmm. So give me real quick what the stand-up gig. I mean, you told me a little bit about it when you first did it, but like, how was it? How what was the feeling? Give me the rundown.
It was the scariest thing in my life.
Really?
Like I've never been one to get shy.
That's interesting, man, because you're not shy at all.
Like I've never been nervous. I've never really cared about what people think. But I think it's because I take great pride in comedy, and I know that I'm funny. It was like, okay, now I'm here with the big dogs. Like
and these are the people that don't know you.
This is the people I don't know.
The people in your office that know you and know your style.
Like their opinion is unbiased.
Yeah.
And I was scared. I was like, what if they don't find me funny? What if I'm not as funny as I think? So I remember just getting onto that stage. It was like everybody was cheering, and then all of a sudden the only thing I could hear was just my heartbeat in my ears. And I was so scared. And then the way that the light shined on me, it seemed that like half the room left, because I was one of the last ones. So it seemed like half the room left. So if you can see in the video, my body slanted one way because I wanted to face the audience.
Yeah.
But then when I got off stage, I realized nobody left. So I was just like ignoring half the room. I was just like, you guys can't enjoy my jokes. Only these guys.
Well, when I watched it, dude, and me and you talk about stand-up a lot just because we both are into that stuff. And for a first time, you did really well.
That's what I was. I didn't think I didn't realize how many comedians don't do well their first time.
Yeah.
And when I got off, the comedian that was hosting the show, he stopped me and he was like, hey, that was really, really good for your first time. And I was like, is he saying that to be nice, or is he actually mean that? So
I went to an open mic once, and just watching people go up that I've been doing a few times, it was like, it's almost cringy and it's awkward, and it's just they don't have their voice yet. And I feel like that's something you do have, is you kind of have your own voice. Still needs work. You can see that, obviously, being new to it, but at the same time, it looked like you're already light years ahead, which is crazy for the first time, you know?
Yeah, I think what really helped is, like, in middle school and high school, me and my friends, we would just do skits on our Snapchat story. I've
noticed that too with my stuff, like doing skits or doing YouTube videos. Like, it's so much easier. The transition's a lot easier.
Yeah. So.
But you doing them all the time.
We were doing them every weekend. Like, it was my 3 friends, Garrett, Marlon, and Baylor. Yeah. We would just hang out every weekend, play some FIFA, and like, one of us would be like, hey, you know what would be a funny like Snapchat idea? And we're like, what? And then we just like do that, and we'd do like an 8-second video, but it would take like an hour and a half, because we would record it over and over again and be like, no, like, let's adjust this, or you know what would be even funnier if we added this into it, and like we just went all out onto it.
So you've been performing all your life at the end of the day, you know? Right on, man.
Like on puppet strings. I had to perform to keep my family by. It was pretty bad.
From the womb. All right, brother. Well, let's wrap it up because it's about to end here. But where can they find you?
The Jony Show is basically my label on all my social medias: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Check me out. Drop a comment, like and subscribe.
I'll link y'all down below. All your stuff here.
But if you feel touched, if you feel inspired in any way, you drop a comment, because the algorithm helps me.
And me.
No, not him.
All right.
This is a psychological thing. Whoever has the hand higher is dominant person.
I think my finger's higher. And
cut.